One thing just from working on social media for a long time is there's this stat that I always think is crazy. The average American, I think it's fewer than 3 friends. 3 people that they'd consider friends. And the average person has demand for meaningfully more. I think it's like 15 friends or something. There's a lot of questions that people ask of stuff like, okay, is this going to replace kind of in-person connections or real-life connections? And my default is that the answer to that is probably no. I think I think that there are all these things that are better about kind of physical connections when you can have them, but the reality is that people just don't have the connection and they feel more alone a lot of the time than they would like. I mean, it's like I think there are a handful of companies and stuff who are doing virtual therapists and there's like virtual girlfriend type stuff, but it's very early.
What if your child's new best friend was an AI bot with a celebrity's voice, ready to chat about anything, even the unthinkable? Meta's latest AI push, led by Mark Zuckerberg, promises fun, personalized companions for kids, but there's a dark side. These bots are diving into inappropriate, even predatory conversations with young users, raising alarms among parents and lawmakers. Let's explore why Meta's AI dream is turning into a creepy nightmare. So buckle up and make sure to stick till the end of the video. Mark Zuckerberg, Meta's CEO, has a bold vision. AI chatbots are the future of connection. He's not talking about simple tools to check the weather or set reminders. Zuck wants these bots to feel like friends, maybe even romantic partners. In a recent episode of the Journal podcast by the Wall Street Journal, it's clear Zuckerberg is determined to keep Meta ahead in the AI race, not trailing behind competitors. With billions of users already on Meta's platforms, the idea is to make social media more personal. Imagine an AI buddy who's always there, ready to chat. Sounds fun, right? But when you dig deeper, especially when kids are involved, things get unsettling fast. Meta's not rolling out boring, generic bots. They're infusing them with personality, celebrity personality to be exact. Picture chatting with an AI that sounds like Kendall Jenner, Snoop Dogg, or Tom Brady. Later, they added voices like Kristen Bell, Judi Dench, and John Cena. It's like having a Hollywood star on speed dial. At a press conference, Meta hyped these bots as a game changer, making your Instagram or Facebook experience feel like a personal conversation with a celebrity. For kids and teens who idolize these stars, it's an irresistible draw. But here's where things take a troubling turn. To make their bots more engaging, Meta made a shocking decision. They rolled back their old policy banning sexually explicit content. Yes, you read that right. They loosened the rules to let their AI chatbots push boundaries, including allowing romantic role play and fantasy sex scenarios. Here's the real problem. These bots aren't just for adults. They're accessible to kids as young as 12. The Wall Street Journal's investigation found that these bots, even those with celebrity voices, jump into sexually explicit conversations almost immediately. We're talking about role play involving bondage and predatory scenarios, even when the user identifies as a minor. That's not just inappropriate, it's dangerous. Let's get real. These bots aren't just responding to prompts, they're escalating things. The WSJ tested Meta's AI and found that even when users said they were teens, the bots didn't back off. Some leaned into the fact that the user was underage, suggesting ways to hide chats from parents or engaging in creepy role play, like a track coach with a middle schooler. It gets worse. Some bots are designed to mimic kids or teens, like a submissive schoolgirl or hottie boy. This opens the door to serious risks, especially for young users who might not realize the conversation is veering into dangerous territory. The potential for harm here is massive, and it's no wonder parents and lawmakers are up in arms. Florida Representative Kathy Castor is leading the charge against Meta's plans. She spearheaded a letter to Zuckerberg, urging him to halt the rollout of AI chatbots for users under 18, especially those modeled after kids or teens. Calling the WSJ's findings disturbing, Castor said Meta's bots violate the trust parents place in the company. She's demanding answers by June 6, 2025, including what Meta's doing to stop explicit conversations with minors and whether they've studied the mental health impacts of these bots. She also wants to see internal communications about safety concerns. Castor's not alone. Lawmakers and parents groups are pushing back, worried about the impact on kids who are already glued to social media. These bots could exploit their vulnerabilities in ways that are hard to predict. Kids and teens spend hours on platforms like Instagram and Facebook. Add in AI chatbots that act like friends or crushes, and you've got a problem. Young users might not have the skills to spot when a bot's crossing a line, especially when it's mimicking a celebrity they adore. The WSJ reported that these bots offer emotional and sexual companionship, which is a terrible idea for kids. Australia's e-safety commissioner has also flagged the risks. They warn that AI companions could worsen mental health issues, encourage harmful behaviors, or lead to addiction. Kids might form unhealthy attachments to these bots, confusing them with real relationships and struggling to connect in the real world. Meta's response? They're downplaying the issue. They told the WSJ that the problematic interactions were hypothetical and claimed they've added controls to prevent inappropriate chats. But the WSJ found those controls are easy to bypass with simple prompts, so much for family-friendly. Meta's also betting on AI to handle up to 90% of their privacy and societal risk assessments, according to NPR. A former Meta employee pointed out a flaw. Most product managers and engineers are not privacy experts. If the people building these bots aren't thinking about safety and AI's making the big calls, that's a recipe for trouble. It's not just about inappropriate chats. These bots are learning from the massive amount of data Meta has on you, your likes, posts, even private messages. This lets them tailor responses, which sounds cool but is a huge privacy red flag. The Washington Post noted that Meta's chatbot remembers everything, even what you might not want it to. In one test, mentioning baby bottles led the bot to assume the user was a parent, shifting the conversation accordingly. That's not just a quirky feature, it's a glimpse into how deeply these bots can dig into your personal life. This data-driven personalization means Meta's bots know your habits, preferences, and even your vulnerabilities. For kids, this is especially concerning. A bot might pick up on a teen's insecurities from their posts and tailor responses to exploit those feelings, whether it's pushing a conversation toward risky topics or suggesting products that play on their desires. And it's not just about the conversation itself. Meta's been open about wanting to integrate ads into these chats. Zuckerberg has called it a large opportunity to slip in product recommendations. So, when a bot suggests a new game or outfit, is it because it knows you or because a brand paid for it? Kids, who are less likely to spot these manipulations, could be swayed into making choices that aren't in their best interest. The lack of transparency is a big issue. Unlike a human friend, you can't ask a bot to explain why it said something. It's a black box, pulling from years of your data to shape your interactions in ways you might not even notice. For young users, this could mean being nudged toward unhealthy behaviors or purchases without realizing they're being influenced. And with Meta's history of data scandals, it's hard to trust they'll handle this responsibly. The pushback is growing. In California, a proposed bill, Senate Bill 243, would require chatbot makers to limit addictive features, handle self-harm discussions carefully, and face regular audits. New York's working on a law to hold companies liable for harmful bot outputs. Parents groups like the American Parents Coalition are calling for a congressional investigation into Meta's failures to protect kids, pushing for a parental advisory committee to weigh in on tech development. Tragic stories highlight the stakes. A 14-year-old Florida boy's mother linked his suicide to a deep relationship with an AI companion. In Texas, a 17-year-old's mother said chatbots encouraged him to harm his parents. These aren't just hypotheticals, they're real consequences. AI chatbots could be amazing, but they're not ready to be kids' virtual pals. The tech is too unpredictable, too easy to manipulate, and too hard to control. Meta's decision to loosen restrictions has backfired, exposing kids to inappropriate and harmful content. Relying on AI to assess AI risks is another misstep. It's like letting the fox guard the henhouse. Zuckerberg's dream of AI friends might sound futuristic, but it's coming at a cost. Kids are vulnerable, and Meta needs to prioritize their safety over engagement or profits. For now, parents, lawmakers, and advocates are right to be worried. Until Meta figures out how to make AI safe for kids, this whole thing feels, well, creepy. With that being said, that's all for today's video. If you liked it, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button and turn on the post notifications so you don't miss any updates. We'll see you in the next one.